Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dissection of Violence with me, Wolf of Villainy. In this particular episode, I want to talk about the Volskaya industry map between Seoul Dynasty and Los Angeles Valiant in their Stage 2 opener of Overwatch League Season 1. In this match, I want to particularly focus on a couple of things. One is Seoul Dynasty's uh, defense on A, with a particularly close look at their tank play as well as the execution of their so-called reactive dive kind of style, and how were they able to use that alongside with their Sombra comp in order to contain Los Angeles Valiant. And at the same time, I would also want to take a look at Los Angeles Valiant and talk about why this whole attack run from them was a bit of a mistake, as well as things they could be doing that could maybe let them cap this point rather than having full hold, getting full hold by the opponent. But without further ado, let's get right down to it. Alright, so first I want to take a brief look at Seoul Dynasty comp. That comp is Lucio, Zen, Diva, Winston, Tracer, and Sombra. If you have any knowledge of Apex Season 3, the season where Lunatic High was able to repeat as Apex champion with Asuka as their premier Sombra player, this comp is kind of very much the same here. You have what you are trying to do with this comp is that you are trying to play around the Sombra hack and the health pack in order to build EMP as fast as possible. The moment you got the initial EMPs up and you're able to win the team fight, you would be able to snowball it like all the way until the end if you execute it properly. This comp has a lot more like backline sustain because of the health pack, as well as the aforementioned snowball ability. But the problem with this comp is that it is not as bursty as say a Genji Tracer dive, and it is not a consistent kind of comp in the sense that you don't have a lot of like direct damage either compared to say something like the Soldier Tracer comp that Los Angeles Violence is gonna run in this particular map. So usually when you are trying to run this comp, you have to be very precise with your timing, and as well the fact that you have to pick the right moment to engage, because otherwise you are not going to be able to go in straight ahead in a team fight versus team fight. You have to very much pick your spot and pick your timing carefully before you can make an engage and try to make the most out of it. On the other hand, there is Los Angeles Valiant's comp, in which they have Soldiers, Tracer, Diva, Winston, Lucio, and Zen. Kind of like Apex Season 3 again. This comp is very much bread and butter kind of dive comp. Is kind of like a more stable version of dive, I would say, because you have the consistent DPS that is from soldiers, who can also help pocket the backline. That is the Zen and the Lucio. And obviously at the same time you still have the dive component that is Diva, Tracer, and Winston. This comp is very reliable in the sense that it's maybe not as aggressive as say a Genji Tracer comp, but it is solid. It's a solid pick most of the part, and it doesn't require you to take as much risk as other normal aggressive dive. And if you compare it to like say the comp that Soul Dynasty is running, there isn't a lot of utility, but you are trade at for having more direct firepower. So these comp don't necessarily like counter each other's per se, but it's very much like different approach. And in this map, like we will see on how Soul Dynasty was able to use their comp like completely perfectly, while Los Angeles Valiant seems to be very confused on how to handle Soul Dynasty's defense. Alright, alright, so let's take a look at Los Angeles Valiant's first attack
they
run.
know they need a little bit of a pretty big hold on point A if they want to get themselves in position to eat up all the time on point B.
So, alright, so with Soldier, Tracer, in the Sky industry, usually what happens is that a team would try to go around this way, go past and into the high ground area, into the left of the point, so that there's good sidelines for soldiers as well as a solid place for the backline to rest, and it also play off the strength of the comp in that it give it's very rangy, well not very rangy but moderately range I guess, with 76 DPS in the front and the dive. Now here's what I think is the first mistake that a Los Angeles Valiant did. If you notice there, like when Uncle was coming in, he was very low, and like as you can see here, and as you can see, because of that, Fate had to use his bubble to try to protect him, as well as Envy wasting his Diva cooldown. Now, in a pre-team fight situation, what ideally you don't want to use your cooldown as much as possible and try to take least poke damage as much as possible, because when a team fight happen, you want to have as much health as you can, as well as having much cooldown as you can, so that you can actually win a team fight. But right now, what happened is that like with the rotational mistake, it kind of forced Los Angeles Valiant to use their cooldown in order to protect their team, as well as for the fact that here you have Soul Dynasty actively like pressuring them from the side, because like they are pressuring outside, they are the defense team, they can just literally be up pressure outside that eat like some moderate poke and then come back and charge Flatter's health pack. This is very smart play for them. They know that they won't be losing much by trying to pressure like this, but they can force out the cooldown off of Los Angeles Valiant, and obviously also charge the health pack as well, which worked wonderfully for them. So let's continue. So obviously, obviously, immediately once so Dynasty pressure and got the thing they want, they back up right away. Now Los Angeles Valiant, they're gonna have to try to rotate around to this side right here. There's like a solid 2 or 3 seconds where the team don't rotate directly strike into the other side building, and this is where the mistake, because as you see here, you have Zumba dashing in, you have Flatter coming in, and also you have here, like in this kind of like obviously like this is where Soul Dynasty is pouncing on a mistake of Los Angeles Valiant, is that in that Los Angeles Valiant rotation is very weak. It doesn't look like everyone have a clue what to do together. You have a few people just kind of moving, and a few was kind of act behind. So I don't know what happened in the communication channel, but with the backline up LAV, like directly on this side right here for like 2 or 3 seconds. It gave a perfect opening for Seoul Dynasty to jump and engage where if you notice like only the back line, only like these two players, Ivy is stuck at the back while the rest is actually already inside of the building, so there's really no way for them to actually come out and help either. So this rotational mistake of Los Angeles Valiant is very bad. And as you can see here, that rivalry, as you do in the game, we're just going to die soon. And in which they did. And a team kill. And at this point, it was kind of lucky for LA Valiant, I guess, because if you notice, the team, the out percentage of Letos EMP wasn't that bad. They can still coming in. Los Angeles Valiant, in theory, can still coming in with a team fight without worrying too much about the EMP. And also at the same time, the all percentage of both teams is kind of the same level, even if Seoul Dynasty won that particular team fight. Alright, now let's focus on the next
as they were
team
crossing
fight.
the open space at the bottom of your screen right there, and managed to
Yeah,
get them in the
Flutter
second
kind of
building.
like
But if they get a
trying to
position on the high
get
ground, it is
around a
going to be
little
a
bit, try to eat
disaster
a
for
bit of
Seoul.
poke and charge
So
again.
they have to
Very much
intercept them before they can
normal
get
somber strategy in here, but okay, here.
there. They're going to keep
You
trying.
have, okay, you have the same thing here again with Los Angeles Valiant following the same path, and so Dynasty did the same thing. Just try to eat some poke and as well as pressure them. Okay, in this particular situation, they didn't manage to draw out a lot of cooldown. So what Soul's doing here? So what Soul's doing here is just trying to like putting like some pressure on the side over here. I'm not quite sure why Fate had to use his bubble there right when I said that. So Dynasty didn't draw much cooldown. It seems a little bit of a microplay mistake from Fate right there, because obviously the team fight haven't started yet, and you need the bubbles up. That's literally Winston's most important cooldown. So him using bubble like this is one of the small mistakes that can add up to this whole round. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. So obviously you have Mirror kind of like trying to wait right here, and the moment Los Angeles Valiant kind of try to come to the side, he immediately jumped forward to actually cut the team in two. And at this point with the whole team stuck in half like this, so Dynasty can actually make a full-on engage to either side of the team, and they would get like a lot of good value out of it, because half the team is stuck in here and they can just go on like say 5v3 on this side or 5v3 on this side. Either way would works. But given that this com as they are trying to play around Flutter's EMP, they decided to just take more poke, as you can see with Zunba just flying in, eat enough poke to get half health and coming back right away. So they eat poke, and then Zunba just gonna use it off to either charge Ru Jehong's trans, or he's just gonna fly back to the EMP and get it off to like
They're separated right now, so the Valiant are opposite in the...
Yeah, and given how the outnumber of Ru Jehong is up and Flutter is unchanged, they are clearly trying to get the trans up here. Obviously, I think at this point, like even though I said that they are trying, Seoul Dynasty is trying to play a health pack, I think they are okay with Flutter just building off the ult by his own, which is a completely okay way of playing it, I guess. Now you have just trying to
everybody else out. Soon is bringing up the rear. Finally makes it up top. So they have managed to get onto the high ground. Now this is where they want to be.
Well, he's gonna have that tactical visor.
All right, so here's so this is one of the another mistake that I
Trying
think
to get
LAV
everybody
did.
else out. Soon is bringing up the rear. Finally makes it up top. So they have managed to get onto the high ground.
Okay,
Now
so
this
you
is
have
where they
Ajay.
want to be.
Okay, so you have Agility coming in here with Verbal Uncle. Obviously the backline coming here. You have Fate up there, but I'm not quite sure why Fate was down there. I think Soon was also down there as well. So I'm guessing they are trying to put pressure on Seoul Dynasty and force him to pull back a little bit. But what happened
Well, he's
in
gonna have
here
that
is
tactical
that
visor pretty soon too.
as you notice here, like you have immediately Mero and Zumba directly jumping in straight from here because they know that they only have Envy in here that protecting them, as well as for the fact that they are stuffing the backline of LA Valiant in this particular gate where there isn't exactly much they could really do because, like I said earlier, Los Angeles the comp need space to work and need range to work, and right now Miro and Zumba is doing a very good job of actually denying both of these, as well as for the fact that, like, because of them being stuck in this particular room, like there isn't very much room to maneuver, as well as the fact that they are also extremely vulnerable to Tracer and Sombra from behind as well. So let's see how this team fight turning out.
Silver 76. So if he can stay
So obviously they in here, you have Agility and Verbal already taking a lot of
long
poke
as unit, that
damage.
could be good.
And now, yeah, as I said, that Bunny already killed Uncle. He probably flanking from this side, back side, or from the gate where LAV is coming in. You have Mero just seeing like a bunch of squishy stuff in a small room, so he just literally just press Q and engage. And right now, like, Envy is still kind of stuff in there, and he can't really do anything. So this team fight is going to be another loss for LAV.
Miro coming in. Unco down already. Miro has that primal rage. Just batting.
Yeah, the EMP at the end there, I think it was a little bit overkill because with Uncle already down and Miro already almost killed Agility at that point, having the EMP coming in was kind of almost like an overkill. Like Flutter can easily just save an EMP for the next team fight, and it would work just as well. But at this point, though, you have you have Flutter, you have Miro, you have Bunny, Blue, 3 of their ults up, and I think that's okay. Mero ult is not particularly valuable per se. Bunny ult also kind of fast charging, and as well as EMP. So, so even though, like, I think they could have been a little more conservative, but with their ult, it's really okay. So.
From Fleta. And that turned out pretty
So
well
Soon
for
only
Soul.
got
Soon is still alive, and we see Jayhawk
concerted
chasing him down
kill,
on the backside of the point right now.
constellation kill, I guess, and then die. So that team fight, Los Angeles Valiant seems to be really disjointed. They don't really know what to do and where to go, and when they have a slight idea of where to go, they just completely get stymied by Seoul Dynasty's dive attack. So now we are moving toward the third team fight. This is probably gonna be a team fight where LAV is going to be able to at least have some ult to use. Post Bomb's coming up, Visor's coming up, Soundsberry coming up, Trans is also coming up, and obviously these two also will be able to come up during a fight. And obviously Soul only have 3 ult, that is readily available, but both of them being defensive also, they can easily use it to stymie the attack, most of these. So it will be up to LAV to make mistake rather than Soul to apply them to actually lose the team fight. Alright, so again here, same mistake. They LAV got a little bit spooked the moment they got pressure in. They use a cooldown unnecessarily.
Firing away, trying to build up another EMP here is Valiant.
And obviously, as you can see here, Mero eat some poke here. He immediately went back to the health pack, and Flutter already got 50 to the next EMP.
On the left side, they do have a lot of ultimates to work with here.
Right, so here's the same deal there.
Really needs to time it well.
Alright, so obviously here's the same deal. You have LAV, have the team coming up here to try to get space and range in order to firing down. On this firing lane, you have kind of like the back line kind of coming here. I don't know why. I think they are trying to do a split push, but I don't think it's necessarily the right choice here, given the fact that Seoul Dynasty is having a lot of space here. Like this whole space right here where the tank line is playing and such is very good because it gives the back line, Toby and Ryu Jae-hong, basically a lot of space to maneuver as well as staying safe, as well as the fact that it gives them like plenty of room to maneuver in case Los Angeles tries something funny. So let's watching this.
They're gonna defend this one.
Okay, so you have Fake coming in here. So you have Fake coming in here, and then he's eating like Brazilian poke. He's already down to half health. So the team now though is still splitting into 4. You have the tank, you have the Winston in the back line here, getting pressured by Zunba, Miro, and obviously Bunny from outside here. They're stuck into a corner where they can't really do anything. And at the same time, Soon and Envy is getting really separated from the team, which is a fatal mistake.
Can't fall back to the mega health pack very quickly.
So there you have Envy kind of by himself and getting hacked by Flutter, which is basically a descendant for Diva.
Alright, they've actually got they isolated Envy. Oh man, Envy a little bit
Envy is now out of mech, which is basically fucking useless. But he can, so Fake is like jumping and probably more out of desperation. And I'm not very sure why Uncle decided to trance on there. The camera isn't very useful, but I don't think he was in any trouble, unless what Valiant do is that they are using the trance in order to force an engage, which I don't think is a very good idea, considering that the Diva is already out of mech and also die, and soon also as well is not doing very good with his flying kata. And also, if you notice here, with this position, it's kind of crap. You have Jae-hong and Toby just literally playing around the health pack right here, so they have a lot of sustain. So, and even Fake coming in over here trying to like going down here, they have a lot of space to actually scatter off and be safe. And as well as for the fact that like RAV is very scattered with the attack at the moment. So yeah, you have Ryu Jae-hong. Also, you have Fake. I try to pressure Ryu Jae-hong here, but then Toby is right. Toby and Miro right there coming in, PO and kill him. You have Zumba kind of self-destruct over here and kill soon. So at this point, like RAV just wastes 2 of their ult for absolutely nothing. And now Seoul Dynasty is gonna have 4 ults up, with Miro probably going to have ult soon. And yeah, Uncle died while in a retreat, which is also very bad. Now with only 1 minute left, LEV is definitely gonna have to try to force this engage, because they still have a lot of ult, but at the same time Seoul Dynasty also have a lot of ult that can easily counter those two. So this is gonna be one last desperate attack for LEV. Alright, so this is gonna be the final team fight for Los Angeles Valiant. And you have Uncle switching from Zen to Anna, because obviously his Zen have been kind of really ineffective so far. and he already used trans, so I think he was thinking, oh, might as well just running Anna. And at this point,
Great job of
so
dividing
you have
and
Bunny
conquering
kind
the
of
Valiant on
playing
this attack.
around
They
this
are punishing
side,
them before they can get to the high ground, and even when they got there, push them back into the room into
trying
the
to
waiting
scout a
arms
little bit.
of
He also has
EMP.
post bomb here,
this has
so
been
he can just kind of try to pull around here and try to spook out a Valiant into commit a mistake, because they probably know that he have a post bomb ready to rock.
masterful defense from Soul.
Okay, so yeah, this was a mistake here. You have a Valiant coming up into this side, and you have Fate kind of come in right over on this side, and then decide to jump back. At the same time, you have Mero and Zumba coming in right down to both of this side, the door here, and the whole back line of every Valiant is again stuffed into the building where it's not an ideal place for them to take an engage.
So threatening from Bunny Man. He gets
And then they also got EMP inside there as well. So even though outside you have Fate, you have Uncle, you have Soon kind of playing around here. Half of their team is inside there, and you have Agility already very low on health inside.
the back line, so that false bomb
And
out.
he's dead.
Agility's down already. Rough start for Valiant here. They're gonna drop.
And we also got D-Max. So right now at 27 seconds, Verbal finally use a sound barrier in a desperation, but in essence two of their players already down, so the sound barrier is completely trash. Like they really need to make a hasty retreat now so that they can actually still have one desperate team fight
Up the
later.
sound barrier, but it doesn't save their 76. Bunny's been sitting on that pulse bomb for so
In
long.
which that
and
they
the
did that.
patience is paying off.
It's
Valiant
great, but at this point though, the upcoming team fight is near unwinnable for Los Angeles Valiant, because Seoul Dynasty have 4
has
outs
to
up,
back up.
and
One
Los Angeles
last-ditch
Valiant
attack
only have
incoming.
Verbo was
3,
waiting
and
for the EMP to use
even
the sound
these
barrier, but
3
it
are
didn't
not very
have
valuable
any
comparing
value
to
because NV
Seoul
was
Dynasty's
already
4.
getting demacked in the process right there, so that was a
Okay,
very
so
poor
here's
use of the sound
Bunny
barrier
just
on
in
what was a very
position.
crucial attack with 5
Well,
seconds remaining. Well, Bunny goes in.
And he donate the tire. Okay, so now with the time being at 2 seconds, so Dynasty decided to you know what, fuck it, we're just gonna go full on aggressive by using the trans as an aggressive push, and completely kill and completely stifle whoever's outside over here, because obviously they have the ult and to do it, and as well as the fact that LA Valiant still need to cap the whole map. So this is an okay move from them, even though I'm more of a fan of using trans, more of a reactive kind of ult rather than a proactive kind of ult. But in the situation, like, it's perfectly okay to do this.
In with the transcendence.
So
We're into OT. Somebody's on the point right now. I'm gonna bet you it's soon.
you have
Go
a
down, they
JD
gotta
kind
get
of
back to the
just
point,
pressing
though.
Q, because at this
Bunny's on
point
there,
he hasn't got
backcapping.
Q.
Agility's and Envy rushing to get
You
there.
have
I
Soon
don't know
and
if
the
Valiant
rest
can
coming
pull
in
this one
here,
off.
but the back
Shut it
line has
down.
already been
It was
dead, so at
Agility's
this
on the
point it's
shoulder, I
very
believe.
much
Now can
it's
Soul
very much
handle the
like
rest of these respawns? Nearly 2
stalling
ticks already.
game, and
Agility's falls. Fate
so
getting low.
Dynasty
Pops that
just
primal rage in
killing
the
the
end.
shit out of
Meanwhile, Envy D-Max yet
Los Angeles
again.
Valiant,
And once they take out Fate, that may just be it.
and that
That
is a
is it.
GG. So to sum up on this map, I think one of the key factors is that Dynasty, they did a couple of things very well. I think they have good alt economy. They even though some of the part was sketch, as I point out during the VOD review, but overall they still have the important alts up when they need it, which is the defensive alt, and they really never had a chance to actually use it reactively either. So it's kind of a wash. At the same time, so Dynasty also had very good space control, because as I noted again and again, every Valiant was always rotating into the wrong side of the map, and they never actually got the space they needed in order to make their comp work. So was always encroaching in their space and stuffing AAV in in uncomfortable corner where they couldn't really do anything. And also at the same time, Seoul Dynasty also have very good positioning because as you noticed throughout the whole match, I don't think Ryu Jae-hong, Toby, or Zunba and Miro actually die. I think Bunny died a couple times, as well as Zunba got demech a couple times, but immediately got make away. But their positioning was very good. They just took the uh, the amount of pulp that he needed, and they constantly applying pressure while staying safe. And lastly, their timing was also sublime because they constantly called out Los Angeles Valiant in places and in timing where they are the most vulnerable. Meanwhile, if you look at the Los Angeles Valiant game, one of the big mistakes I think is in their rotation. Um, in Overwatch, when a team is doing a rotation, there's always at least 1 or 2% that is out of positioning. Uh, so some rotation group, these mistakes are small. But in the case of Los Angeles Valiant, their rotational mistake was quite large. You have Uncle Zen just like they little bit lag behind everyone for like half a second or something, and and then you also have Verbo and Uncle just kind of like stuffing behind for like a solid 3 or 4 seconds as well, which obviously give Seoul Dynasty the chance to come in and make a successful engage. So this is very bad thing for them. And the second one I think is that like they were playing very passive. I know that their comp was supposedly trying to get the upper stairs and try to get as much rank as possible, but they were playing very scared. They didn't make any meaningful engage. They were really just like trying to make into the place where they want to set up, but even before they could do that, they always get stifled by Seoul Dynasty just coming in and basically took their lunch money. This is kind of a more lifelong weakness of Los Angeles Valiant. So this is something that they're gonna have to fix in the future. They always taking the poke game very long, sometimes to the detrimental. So they need to be more decisive in their call next time. Um, Another mistake is also alt timing, because as you can see in that particular map, there was one or two instances where the alt was very questionable from Los Angeles Valiant. They could then you have Verbals Soundware being too late, and you have Uncle Trans being just completely useless. And obviously you also have a couple more alt that I don't think that much that much at all. And lastly, as far as Los Angeles mistake goes, I think the big weakness is that I think they choose the wrong comp, because I do understand their intention. I do understand why they choose to run Tracer and Soldiers, but after the first or two team fight where they were constantly getting split up, they were constantly getting their cooldown drop before a team fight, or the way they were getting pick up due to bad rotation. Like at that point, I think they should have switched to a different comp in order to play the game, in order to approach the point in a different way, instead of just trying to use the same place for like three different times and get stifled all 3 different times. Like they could easily just switch comp to something like maybe with Reaper or Roja or something, and then go onto the other side up the health pack up the point where there's the health pack. But they didn't really do that. So all in all, it was a very successful defense of Dynasty and a really bad showing of LA Valiant. But I think LA Valiant can improve on this. So let's see how it goes for the next match. But for now, thanks for watching. And I will see you guys later in another episode of Dissection of Violence with me, Wolf of Villainy. Thank you very much for watching.